It's not loading. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey everyone.
Hello, guys.
Hey everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Geeky Juans Late Night with Loser Mangaka edition. Oh
Hello,
wait.
Late night
hello.
edition, 12 a.m.
Yeah,
Or
12 a.m. late night.
Thank you for
Today.
thank you for compromising.
nah, it's fine. Like
No
this is
problem.
my peak awake hours, Ren.
My
So
God.
Peak,
Yung hours.
peak gamer
Peak
time.
gamer
yeah, peak
hours.
gaming hours.
Kulang na lang Mountain Dew and chips on the side.
Wish I had
Like,
some Mountain Dew.
oh God. Man.
Shout out
Crazy.
Mountain, big sponsor.
Yun nga, ganda sana, no? PepsiCo Philippines, pa-sponsor. Salamat sana.
Like,
We are your audience, the gamer audience.
like you really did your research. Okay, Pepsi Cola.
Whenever I type our episode is live, I always type
Yeah.
our episode is love. Like, oh,
Oh,
heartwarming.
That-
This na
that's-
excited, heartwarming. But
yeah.
it works.
Anyway, a quick introduction to our episode today. We have Gio, aka Loser Mangaka, video game designer and comic creator and video game creator. It's crazy, man. It's a cool story. So, let's start out with how we met. Gio, how did we meet?
I think we met sa mga conventions yeah. I mean, I know it's conventions kasi
Conventions, yeah.
I somehow naman get like people who like take pictures of my booth and they be like promoting it over sa mga social medias and such.
Yeah.
And whenever I get tagged, I would sometimes remember kasi I'm like, okay, that person's the one who took a picture of me. Kasi malamang siya yun. Kasi
Yeah.
everyone who takes the same pictures.
Yeah.
And there's like, I think sila yung mga taga Flip Geeks rin. They kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, since mga small circles of friends naman yung, especially sa geeky parts, like
Yeah.
everybody knows each other.
Yeah, it's like sino pa ba? Flip Geeks. May isa pa eh. Trying to remember his name. Nasa Twitch palagi eh. I think his username is Ezola19.
Ezola 9.
Emil Garcia.
Wait, no.
Yeah, he has a website too, right? Like he goes to like Taiwan like every year for like conventions, right? Or Japan.
No. I remember, I think it's Emil yung taga Rumble Royale. Yun ba yun? Hindi.
No. Emil, wait lang, let me find it. May website rin siya eh. I can't remember.
But yeah,
But like,
most of it parang through connections lang because everybody introduces each other with,
yeah, it's such a small world that everybody just knows each other.
yeah.
Like, I can't find his website, but I know he's part of some website. I know it's not Flip Geeks, but it's like something like that.
Yung ano ba yan? Yung say of the fanboy, tama ba? Or something like that. I don't know. I forgot. Parang medyo close kasi yung names pag geek culture. Like, it's kind of... it sounds almost the
Like,
same.
the Geeky Juans, Flip Geeks.
Si
Earl maghirang lang yung fanboy SEO, and that was very smart of him.
Yun,
So smart of him kasi SEO, diba? So like, kahit hindi ka necessarily geek person, like you would still end
digital
up
marketing background kayo, the shoe.
yun nga eh. It's like, oh, fanboy SEO. Like, ano to? Fan of SEO? Like, my God. Like,
yeah.
nope. It's like, no, it's a geek website. Like, holy shit. Like, crazy stuff. Like, if Earl is watching, hi Earl, kumusta naman kayo? Grabe, he's taking care of his kid. His kid's starting school, pero like online school. Like, that's so hard, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot.
Everything is online right now, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've recently like made a podcast just so that I could talk not to people online because it's so hard to get interactions anymore.
Yeah, crazy. Saying hi to the 5 people watching, by the way, and that one heart.
nice.
Hello.
Hello.
So,
Thank you for the
anyway.
heart.
My cat
Wow,
just
yeah.
entered the room. Hello.
Yeah. Ayun. So let's start off with how you started doing independent comics. Like, what were you doing before, and what led you to doing comics?
I think I started I started making comics 2014, and I was in college, but that was like my last year of college. Yeah, it was basically yung last year of college, yung incoming last year, I
Yeah.
was like panicking kasi I was like, I haven't done anything throughout the whole college, and I need to
Yeah.
do something to like before I become an adult in the real world. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm gonna try giving this comics like one last shot before,
Yeah.
uh, to see if it's really meant for me or not. So
Yeah.
around 2014, I started
Mm-hmm.
a web comic series called Bad Puns, and I was uploading
Uh,
it on a website called Tapastic. And the base, yeah, and I would do it like once a month. Eventually, it
mm,
became weekly, and
yeah.
eventually like, twice a week because I was like
Wow.
slowly building a following on that website to the point na
Mm-hmm.
I had like I was getting like receiving money because the website was kind of like YouTube, wherein the more views you get or the more views your comics get, the more
Uh-huh.
AdSense you'll get. So that was the best
Mm,
feeling. Making money doing comics, and also
mm.
getting like some deals also like
Oh.
locally. I was offered a job for like this comic artist. I didn't take it kasi medyo shady, pero yeah, it was. I was getting deals. So like it was nice, and I think around I graduated 2015, and the moment I
Yeah.
graduated, I noticed I knew na this comics thing was like working out for me because I was making money, I was getting popular online, and I wanted to like commit to that as soon as
Yeah.
possible because naman how internet works. You have to do things while you're viral, or else you'll miss out. And
Mm.
pero I got a job muna. I got the
Mm.
easiest job, and like a job na parang I could slack talaga. Kasi
Yeah.
I was working at a print shop, so taga-print lang ako. And
Ah.
pero I was also the graphic artist. So whenever nobody is at the shop or nothing is happening, I would work on my comics. And then when
Yeah.
I go home, I still work on my comics. So I did that for like a few months. Tapos
Mm-hmm.
when I was working, I was getting money. I decided not to give conventions a try. So I was like
Mm-hmm.
saving up for first. What's my first convention? Like Indicat, by Comic Con,
Ah. Mm.
and that was I was like saving up money through my job to print the comics that I was
Yeah.
sell there. And when I started selling there, I was like amazed by the whole like convention part
Yeah.
wherein I didn't know there were people who actually bought comics.
Mm.
Or there are even like people into comics. Parang sobrang
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of like the culture and like the
Mm.
scene. So
Mm.
you know, conventions really opened me up to like even more conventions. And then I noticed na making money through my art was really working. So I left the job after a year, and then I went full sa comic in the making
Mm.
indie comics. Yeah. So that's
Sorry.
ano.
Cool. Kumusta naman yung ano? What were the challenges you encountered as an independent artist? Like, is it a stable? Like, would you say na you're able to pay the bills every
At the
day? Mga
start,
ganun?
hindi, because it was like
Mm.
you know everything was a risk.
Mm.
Especially yung the time I left my job, parang I was kind of stupid then when I left my job. I was like, oh my god, I could have been making twice as much if I had stayed in
Mm.
that job. Pero I forgot that doesn't always work. And the when I started as an unemployed indie artist, it's indie comics. I was more reckless, and I didn't know like what to do, like with the money,
Yeah.
increasing sales, yung mga ganun. And I found that like I discovered those things like at a later part. So like last
Yeah.
year, I was able naman to like make a decent amount every month, and then it's like much better compared to like when I started. Everything was like I would think it's high, but
Mm-hmm.
but it's only for that month, and then like I have to
Yeah.
wait for another convention to like earn more money. But after like learning through the experience, I'm able to like know na okay, I shouldn't like just do uh like I shouldn't just do make money through conventions. I should do other stuff as well to
Yeah.
like maintain myself. And kind of
Mm.
eventually, I kind of became stable. Tapos all the COVID stuff, and I got wrecked
Yeah.
very hard.
Mm. I see.
Yeah.
So, like, how are you adjusting now? Like, I mean, diba, like before COVID, you did take in sorry, different opportunities. Like, you did make a video game,
Ah,
Loser
yeah.
Mango, now
That was,
available on
I
Google
think,
Play
I
Store.
think that was like last year. Yeah, last year. Yeah, last year. Last year when I made the game. That was my. I was like, there's like a month now. I was like super bored now. I think it was
Yeah.
like when did I made it? Oh yeah, because around like April to June, there are barely any conventions. So that's like one of the dead months wherein
Yeah.
you'll get a convention every now and then, but you don't really like make big money out of it, and
Yeah.
also you get lots of time. So most
Yeah.
people around those times would like make a comic or something, and I was like super bored, so I decided I'll try making a video game. Because I'm like,
Mm.
I wanna, yeah, sino ba yun? There was like a PewDiePie video wherein
Yeah.
he was like reviewing this fan made game, like one of his uh viewers were made, and then when I was like when that viewer that game, like the creator was like saying that he made it within 2 weeks, and I was like, oh
Wow.
my god, you can make a game within 2 weeks? What? So I looked this guy up, and then okay, parang he was talking about the software. Was that
Yeah.
yung Unity 3D? And I was like, he was
Yes.
explaining that. So it's kind of easy. You don't really need much knowledge over it. And then like, okay, I'm gonna check out more videos. And eventually, it led me to be like this mindset now. Wait, there's so much tutorials. Why don't I just do one of them? And
Yeah.
I decided to try doing a tutorial, and it led me to like making my game. Like most of
Mm.
my game was based off a tutorial that I just tweaked it. Kasi
Galing.
yeah, 'cause when you're watching those tutorials, the one thing I noticed was like, all this design are crap. Like you can easily like fake stuff. Like I'm gonna make my game and then make it kind of look good, like legit, by making just the graphics look nice. Pero it's
Uh-huh.
just basically the same as like all the dumb shit tutorial, like the ugly tutorial games there are. I just made it
Mm.
look good. So eventually it worked out naman. People like the game. It was nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
What were the? How did you get the game to Google Play Store? And is it on Apple? Is it
No,
on?
it's Apple kind of sucks kasi
Uh-huh.
they yeah, kasi they require like a membership fee,
Uh-huh.
which is
Mm.
like also Google Play, pero yung sa Apple it's more like it's like a monthly or yearly fee. I think it's
Ah,
like
shit.
every month it's like $5 or something high, and
About
it
250,
was
no? That's like 250
like
pesos.
thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I can't like this game won't be making any money, so it doesn't seem smart to like invest
Mm.
with the Apple Store, and
Yeah.
also ano, parang mas strict sila with the coding. So if you're
Uh-huh.
like a newbie, hindi talaga nila tatanggapin yun. Well,
Oh,
Google Play na what?
talaga, ganun pala. Ganun pala ka, parang mas intensive yung parang standards ng Apple. Parang ganun,
Uh,
for a game.
Google
yeah,
Play.
kasi they'll give you like code to attach to your code para it will be
Ah,
like those type of stuff, and then they will also review your code, and if they like see like faults in your coding, like they'll say di compatible yung game or yung mga ganun na
Uh,
bullshit. And
oh,
it was
man.
also yeah, it was also the same with Google Play, pero Google Play kind of was like parang they will flag you for the first time, and if you just resubmit it, there's a chance na they'll let it in. So stupid yung algorithm nila, pero it kind of works. So
Mm.
pero sa Google Play, like you had to pay a standard fee of $25,
A
And
standard fee na siya. Like you don't have to make any more payments after
yeah,
that.
yeah, no,
Okay.
and
Nice.
that's like unlimited apps. Yung sa Apple, I believe that it's per app you have to pay.
Whoa, shit.
Oh, so
So
that's why it takes time for a lot of apps to reach Apple.
Apple, yeah, like they have to go like become really successful first on Google Play before they move to Apple, and it was like kind of dumb. Pero like, I don't know.
I think the apps that started from Apple and went to Google had a kind of challenging time kasi that's and then after that it's a breeze kasi Google. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy.
Oh,
Speaking
ano,
of
Google is mostly free
first
yung game.
time as a video game developer, what was your first time as a convention exhibitor like?
Um, my first convention, wait, as a exhibitor, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first convention was 2015. I think it was like a
Mm,
few months after I graduated and started working.
yeah.
And when I went to the convention, I was like, I prepped for it. Like, I really did research. Like, I was
Yeah.
reading a lot of articles on like how to like proper etiquette in conventions, the ways to
Yeah.
make money. You know, my
Mm,
or like I have to be talkative. I should like
yeah.
say, do hand stuff, be like as friendly as possible. And
Mm.
when I was there, I was like also overwhelmed because I didn't know, like I was by myself lang so and I had to commute,
Ah,
so I didn't know na I was like inexperienced with like bringing my merch. So I brought like a big bag full of like 100 comics, and then it's like dumb. Uh, that was me back then, and I had to experience it muna, and then uh, one thing that made me amazed was like I didn't know there were plenty of young people at conventions,
yeah.
especially
Mga
related
ka-age mo,
to
ka-age
comics.
ganun. Yeah.
Yeah, there were like many at the time. Many asked like which college, like if I taga Lasal ba ako or UP, mga ganun na questions, and I'm like, I graduated. I'm like 21 at the time, and then
Yeah.
they were like surprised. No, wow, you're already doing this. Wow, amazing. And then I also expected like the stereotype na it's gonna be all old men, like old geeks. Am I gonna na
Yeah.
stereotype? And I was like, okay, so majority kasi nung bumili sa akin until now are like a female base. So like
Yeah.
that's like amazing to know that there are plenty of women in conventions, and then like hindi lang puro lalaki, which is
Mm.
interesting yung first
Yeah.
as a first time person. And one thing that led like after my first experience convention was first I was making this comics that was funny, and then
Yeah.
suddenly I went to make comics that were like different, which was like a completely different tone. Because like,
Yeah.
after that convention inspired my first convention inspired me to make a comic book called Are You Depressed? And the one reason why I made the comic was when I was at the convention. One like I never saw like any comic artist making a comic book about like mental health and like mga ganun
Mm.
na bagay. And I was like, okay, I could be the first. And then I
Mm.
immediately like spent like 2 months into making it for another convention. And then when I made that comic, like one of the things that happened was like I got like a comic nomination, like a comic
Oh,
award
oh,
nomination,
nice.
and then that comic like was one of my successful titles that really like boosted me, and that's like yung mga signs na I was like, okay, I'm really meant for comics, yeah.
Mm. Nice. And then you did mention na there's a large female audience sa mga conventions sa ganito. Kasi
Yeah.
napansin ko parang pag local conventions, I think there is a larger female audience, pero pagdating sa mga Western convention, would you say like mga Asia pop, would you say ganun din? Like there's a large female
Uh,
audience?
with
Or is it more
I
men
feel like
pag
with Asia pop there are more young women sa
mm,
convention kasi if you're like I feel like the convention sound that's mostly male dominated is like yung mga toy conventions. And not toy con.
The
Yung
collectors,
mga
yeah, toy
small,
con.
yung mga small collector conventions. Kasi mostly those babae, mga lalaki yung nandun eh. It's rare lang to find women at
Mm,
those types of conventions. Unless
yeah,
na, yung mga, like, Asia Pop kasi, there's like, a lot of people, like, medyo mix na rin siya, like, with
yeah,
anime, uh, and pop culture, kaya,
yeah.
like, also, that's why madami rin babae kasi of the pop culture part.
Yeah. I
Mm,
think the more diverse the event is, the more
Yeah.
the more wide, yeah, the better the
yeah.
reach. Because like yeah, hobby conventions, toy conventions, it's more male oriented na hobby, and then yeah, you rarely see women in the hobby. Although of course there are, kaso yun nga, it's a
Yeah,
limited number.
it's rare. It's not, it's like, you could easily single out yung mga women sa mga hobby conventions. Like, alam mo na, okay, it's either sila yung nagbebenta or kasama nila yung mga, like, significant other nila. Kaya they're over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, so sorry, that was gonna lead sana to my other point. That you did start this recent project of yung parang one girl every day na project, tama ba?
Ah,
Where you draw like different women.
yeah. It's
Like, are
hindi
some of these
actually,
women based on like people you met in conventions, or like what's the inspiration for it?
hindi siya ano eh, hindi siya new. I did it like, I think 2017 or
Uh huh.
16. 2016, yeah, 2016.
Yeah.
There was I think ano it was mostly sa medium of like drawing. Like, I wanted to practice traditional drawing, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, when I was practicing yung traditional I wanted to practice traditional drawing, but I didn't know where to start. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember, like, there's this artist that I looked up to, yung creator Scott Pilgrim, Brian Leo Malley.
Yeah.
Um, he was like posting drawings of girls, and I was like, hey, I should just do that, draw girls. And I did like the whole daily girl thing wherein I draw a girl every day. Back then may color eh, ngayon wala na kasi nakakatamad na. Pero comparing that from back then, kasi I was so shit in drawing traditionally, like I did, like, you could see from like the beginning of the year to like the end of the year, like I improved with the art kasi like I practice every day. And comparing yung that time, yung 2016 with now, is ngayon ano eh, there are parts wherein I'm lazy to like, kasi dati I would, or even, yeah, even recently I tried to like find yung mga now I look at lookbook. It's like Pinterest pero for
Yeah.
outfits.
Fashion, yeah.
Yeah, fashion. So I use lookbook mostly for like finding girls to draw kasi ano eh, naka-post and they have good outfits. So I
Yeah.
normally browse there, pero like I think for a few months, yeah, since the whole for this year's Daily Girl, what I do is like whenever I find out a female fan and it's their birthday, I would like draw them para
Mm.
I would need to find the internet for a girl to draw, like, I'll tell this person na, hey, I'll draw you, and then they'll be happy na. So like that's good fan interaction basically. For
Mm.
at the same time, like, I don't need to find someone, kasi minsan nakakatamad maghanap pa, like scrolling
Yeah.
through plenty of girls and be like, which is good, but since it's a fan, like, okay, this is good, and like, it helps.
Mm.
So yeah, that's
Speaking of Scott Pilgrim, who's your favorite character sa Scott Pilgrim?
Wallace Wells.
Wallace Wells.
The gay guy.
The gay best friend.
Yeah, the gay best friend.
Si
Kasi ano
played by, what's his name? Kieran Culkin. Kieran Culkin, yeah.
kasi I like
Yeah.
yung yung banter niya. Like every banter he had with like everybody involved. It was
Yeah.
like like it's well timed banter wherein I'm like, oh, I would. It's either like I resonate with that type of shit, or like I
Mm.
wish I had a best friend that would say dumb shit like that. Because like, so it's so yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, having a banter friend is always fun.
Yeah, they're like kind of like a hype man, and like
Yeah.
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
it makes you sad, but that's part of the hype. Like Oh, they insulted me. The,
It's kind of like Conan O'Brien and Andy Richter.
yeah. It's like
Um,
it builds
mga
good.
ganun.
It sets like an interesting pace of
Yeah.
dialogue or events to come. And
Mm.
like if you had a friend like who could banter like that, yung mga, that's like yung mga kwento na mapapa. Oh, naalala mo yung sinabi mo ganito, ganito.
Mm,
For this
exactly.
moment type shit.
Yeah.
They're the
And then
best.
yeah, speaking of fan interaction, um, let's go back to the point of conventions. What is your favorite convention to exhibit in? Yeah,
Uh,
what's your favorite event to hold a booth in?
there's a convention in Cebu. It's called
Yeah.
Comiket Cebu Lit Fest. Because there's like
Oh,
an
okay.
event in Cebu called Lit Fest, Cebu Lit
Yeah.
Fest, which
Mm.
is basically for literature, spoken word, poetry, and mga slam book
Yeah.
stuff. While Comiket partnered with them and then made it like a Comiket convention. And the best thing was when I've done like three of those, and
Yeah.
every experience was like the best. Kasi
Mm.
first the people in Cebu are like very welcoming, and it's like una masarap yung mga pagkain dun eh. Like the lechon,
Oh.
also the dried mangoes. But yung
Right,
sa
man.
Cebu, yeah, and like everybody there was so kind. Kasi like out of all conventions I've been to, the Cebu convention is like one of those places where I can say na everybody's accepting.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi even like there are conventions kasi especially pag mall, which yung Cebu was a mall convention. Most
Mm.
mall conventions there'll always be like parents who would be like, ah, kaya ng anak ko, or like
Oh man.
like mga ang bahal naman ng mga drawings na yan, ganyan. Like
Ay, ganyan lang yung design.
like they give so much snarky comments and
uh,
irrelevant stuff,
Rumors.
even though they're not gonna be even though they're not the consumer.
Yeah.
Well, here on Cebu, and like you can, parang here at Manila or most conventions in Manila, you can like profile those type of people. Like
Yeah.
sometimes, though it's bad, pero like you can say like yung itsura is like someone who won't really buy stuff. There in Cebu, even if you have that profile from people not taga Manila, there those people support. Like there's like this one nanay na pag bumili sa akin, and then she was so in love with with my work that she like called her whole family, and all the whole like, every
Wow.
family member was like, hindi yung parang plastic na, oh, maganda yan. No, they're like really amazed like with what I was making. And they're like, oh my God,
Cute.
ganda. And also, yung Cebu, there are plenty of foreigners na
Yeah.
hindi katulad sa Asia proper, and there are foreigners, pero it's either they go specifically to that event. Yung sa
Yeah.
Cebu, like many walk in foreigner. And there's like this one time I had like a Japanese family, like they like asked a drawing from me, and when I was drawing them, they saw me and they were like commentating. They were commentating sa drawing ko, and it sounded like yung parang Japanese game show. They're like, oh, no, no.
Oh,
Oh man.
Hearing it, I was like,
okay.
like yung mga reactions na gano'n, and while I'm drawing, and like, oh my God, this is so epic. And then they're like they were like, we bought one spot. Yeah, and one of the guy, like once they bought my work, like
Mm.
before the event ended, he came back so that he could
Wow.
buy all of my stuff because he
Whoa,
was like,
nice.
this might not happen again. So he bought all of my stuff talaga, and I was like
Nice,
amazed
nice.
na dahil yung tourist, mayroon din yung sa tourist area. So like you really get a good feel of like diversity over there
Mm.
compared to dito sa Manila.
Yeah.
And
Kasi
yeah.
parang feeling ko pag dito sa Metro Manila, like the foreigners usually like they're not really like that aware of like the convention scene, I guess. Would you say?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
I think it's because it's just so busy here
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Manila that it's so hard to find, so hard to find an audience that's really invested. Kasi nga, merge
Hmm.
with
And
passive.
most of the time, it's like if ever, I don't know, since most conventions here are like unconvention halls talaga, which is like really segregated. Yung
Yeah.
Cebu kasi was like a mall na like mall entrance wherein everybody could see. So
Hmm.
more or less like you get to yun nga, the tourists at that area were able to like see us. Kasi there are like moments na kahit sa ano, where's that? May mall sa Eastwood, the Eastwood Mall there. They had like
Yeah.
an event, yung Pop Expo, yeah. When there were like a few foreigners that like visited there, and they were like, "Huh, there are conventions pala here in the Philippines."
Ah.
You know,
Yeah.
like yeah, it's
But
good
Grabe.
to know. Yeah.
I think mall conventions would benefit more kasi it's because we Filipinos, we always go to malls, and any big event that we normally see would be inside malls. I think
Yeah.
Yeah, but not all mall events are ano, as welcoming. Kasi minsan like,
yeah,
yun nga, like the
probably
reactions I said kanina. Those are like the majority of reactions pag dito sa Manila. And
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And then speaking of yun nga, mga facing snarky comments in conventions, what was a challenging convention for you? Like you told me about this like off camera, but like let's not talk about that event. But like what's like a challenging convention that experience like to like what's a
I think
challenging convention in general to hold a booth in?
the yung mga challenging conventions are always the small events, which I don't know, no, that's not it's not the small events. But what is challenging? Trying to think back. Ah, yeah, there's this one event. It's it's called HistoryCon.
Oh
It was
shit.
one of the
Oh
most
shit. Okay.
terrible experience.
Okay.
Wait, History
And
Con?
yeah,
History
HistoryCon.
con.
Okay.
History channel.
Oh my.
They were like, I think it's also because the following year from the first time HistoryCon happened, they have like an awareness of Asia pop because dati ano magkasabay sila.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
I
then
remember that. Sumabay sila 1 year. I think it was
yeah,
2018. 2018?
2018.
something like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't aware pa rin eh. Pero yeah, yung sabay sila. And they historical knew na like I feel like it's with their organizers kind of like know that people like yung mga pop culture artists or whatever.
Yeah.
So they decided to like open themselves up for creators,
Yeah.
and they invited a lot while asking for a lot as well.
Oof.
Like yung mga boots there was like even more expensive than Asia Pop. When
What?
Asia Pop was like they had like a name already and then like
Yeah.
rapport experience. Like you
RIP.
can trust. Yeah, you can trust yung not the Asia Pop kind of sucks na rin. Pero like
Oh.
there's like a there that you know what you're expecting with Asia Pop. Kind of like
Yeah.
that. While with Historicon, you had zero clue as to what the audience there is, and parang they have like terrible communication kasi
Mm.
like their emails kept saying like something, and then you're like you're always confused most of the time. I think there's this one part sa Historicon wherein we found out that all the artists or yeah most of the artists there paid different uh
Amount.
amount
Oh
for the booth,
shit.
and like I would hear me and my friends because we were able because of my negotiating skills. Me and my friends got like the best price for
Mm.
like a long ass booth, and when we heard our friend the other people there and their amount, it was like barely one fourth size of what we got, and it was
Oh my
like
god.
2 times more than what we paid as
Holy
a group.
shit.
So it was like okay, they all got overpriced, man.
Oh,
And
grabe.
Yeah, it was terrible nga eh. And what do you call this? And that it wasn't only that, like at the event itself, we were placed within like this weird corner of the event.
Uh,
And
Di ba
like
sa ano yan? World Trade Center, tama?
yeah, the World Trade. It was
Okay,
like
okay,
Oh,
deep
sorry. Keep
inside the
going.
World Trade Center, which is weird kasi it's a world yung ano like once you enter World Trade, you see a lot of these booths with like games, like yung mga fun activities and
Oo.
fun yung mga displays and such.
Oo.
And then once you like go to like this weird sketchy alley, that is the artist alley. And then like we're like behind this like booth, like this big yung mga big display booths of like
yeah.
mga super mga toys. So
Mm.
like big boots like Superman, Batman, mga big toys. And then we were like
Yeah.
behind that. So like we
Oh my
couldn't be seen.
God.
And at the same
Oh
time,
man.
everybody's like scared to pass through us kasi they know na if they pass by here, we will be like, pabili, we'll
Oh
be
man.
selling.
This reminds me, sorry, can I just interfere? This
Yeah.
reminds me of a certain situation, yung, I think sa ESGS 2018.
Yeah, I know, I think
Which
like,
one?
I saw you there, di ba, sa
yeah, that was
ESGS
18, yeah, 2018.
2018, di ba? Yung sobrang
Sikip.
legit
Yeah,
rectangle, like a
it's in
small
the
rectangle.
middle. It's
Yeah,
in
and
the
it's
middle of
behind
some.
in two pillars pa. There's like two pillars in each
Oh,
entrance, which is like, what the fuck? How do you expect like a crowd
di
to
ba?
I
pass?
think I think it's kind of weird na they put artists in low key locations, which is kind of
Exactly.
kind of unfair. Kasi
Yeah,
ako as when I go to conventions, since I don't go to too many ones, I really
Yeah.
just spend a lot of time. I love walking, so I just spend my time walking everywhere first before getting anything, looking at anything. Tapos yeah, it's a struggle. I just find it na ang struggle lang minsan ng mga areas na nilalagay nila certain things, which is crazy. Like, can they just balance it out? Like, come, you can just dedicate
yun
a
nga.
little bit of open space. Yun
I
nga.
think they sent us all a map of
Yep.
ESGS, and then when we were looking at the map, we are like, oh, okay, it's one alley, like a legit
Yeah.
alley for the artist. It seemed nice. When it was at
Hmm.
the actual place, there were two like pillars in
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah, I
in
remember
both
that.
entrances. So it's like then there's even an entrance sign that was being blocked by the
It
pillar.
was
So like,
blocking the
what's the
alley.
point of
Yeah, my God.
having a
So
entrance
yeah, you
sign?
can't even see what it is,
Mm.
what it
Yeah,
offers.
Yeah.
I can't
and then
remember yung difference ng 2019 though.
yeah, the
Yes,
2019
2019 was so much better.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember 2019 was so much a bit more open. Basta I remember having more breathing room to just move
yeah,
around
yeah.
and enjoy. So yun yung difference niya.
I think there was like
Parang, yeah, sorry,
yung
sorry. Go
problem
ahead,
with
Gio.
2019. There was like an exhibit, like a major sponsor or something that pulled out, and like they
Uh-huh.
made like a big blank space near Legion, yung malaking yung disco, yung malaking bolang computer
Yeah.
set nila. Beside there's like a big vacant area. So what they did was they moved yung mga cramped up artists sa artist alley nila over there para to give space. Kasi many artists were also complaining na sobrang sikip yung
Yeah, that's
floor plan
too
last
small, yeah.
year.
Yeah. I think it became a blessing in disguise kasi I think sina Alex Silverio, diba? Kilala mo?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
sina
had a
Alex
good spot.
Silverio and sina Tabby. Diba sila yung lumipat doon?
Yeah, sila
Sa other
lumipas. Sila
side.
yung
Like, I think
ano
sina
eh.
Akinor, mga ganun.
Yeah, yung mga medyo madami kasi daw na bad trip dahil nga sobrang congested yung area. And
Yeah.
especially for like merch. Kasi like with 2018, di ba yung sinabi ko na the two pillars.
Yeah.
What happened was, uh, it was crowded on both entrance exits lang
Oh,
kasi
yeah. There's
everybody
so
was
many
just
people.
checking. So nandun lang sila. And yung last year naman, like you could go around pero at the same time parang good for two people lang yung way. So
Yes, the
if
lanes
you're
were very
looking,
narrow.
Yeah,
so if
ayun.
you're looking at something, like somebody will bump you kasi they're going out, yung mga ganon.
I think
Yeah.
what I did was I go in, go out, and then just go around back
Ah,
all the
yeah.
way back to just
Medyo
okay,
masikip
I'll
nga
just
eh.
do
Kasi
this
I
again.
know, yeah. Like I
Yeah.
noticed na, I mean, you went on Saturday, Jude. Baka mas madaming tao no Saturday.
Yeah, well,
All
I
days.
think I think it's the best way to experience it kasi nga, I really wanna see how the crowd goes and then
Yeah.
yeah, but I remember it. I remember just really just going one way, always moving one way. Kasi whenever I go back, like I always have a harder time. I just
Yeah, yeah,
move
yeah.
the
Kasi
crowd and
people are
just
bumping into you na eh. They're like,
Like
so,
how were you able to eat lunch or anything? Like do you like ang hirap
no,
ng lumabas, 'di ba?
last year kasi I had an artist alley booth which I was with Toto Madayag of
Yeah,
Libreng
Libreng
Comics.
Comics. Shout out to Toto Madayag of Libreng Comics.
Besides, pero at the same time I also had like a booth for the game I made.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Nasa Indie Fiesta ako and Artist Alley. Pero it's
Yeah.
mainly at the Indie Fiesta for like most days. I think the last day lang ako nag-switch to the uh, Artist Alley. Pero yeah, since mas ano eh, yung Indie Fiesta area is much wider and we were like
Yeah.
more taken care of. So I enjoyed like the more leg room sa area ko. Tapos when I'm like I want to like daan sa table nila Toto, I would see na oh shit ang sikip dito, and then I would go back sa Indie Fiesta and be like oh man this is the best.
Parang ano siya, parang eroplano eh, no? Parang eroplano, parang,
Yeah.
okay, economy class, business, first class. Yung parang, pag, ano ka, kung si Elodia ka, you get first class treatments. Parang,
Yeah.
mga exhibitor, you know, business class, and then like, economy class for everyone else.
And also ano, there's yung flow on
Yeah.
the Indie Fiesta area was much better compared sa
Mm.
Artist Alley. And
Mm.
so like medyo
yeah, I remember going around there a lot eh. Like parang
yeah,
like
kasi it's so
I
spacious
had
eh.
more time to just look
And you
at
can
everything.
browse talaga eh. Like
Yes.
there's more browsing space. Yung sa akin ano, I was beside kasi a parang college game, like a game made by a bunch of college
Yeah.
students. And dahil doon, medyo sila nasikapan sila kasi ang dami nila eh. Ako, mag-isa
Yeah.
lang. And I was like, okay. They
More
seem
leg
like,
room for you.
yeah. But at the same time, during the last day of the convention, I was like, oh man, nakakaawa kasi sila. So, like, they're like so cramped up. Tapos
Yeah.
they get like they get more attraction than me. So yung nangyayari is they block yung view towards my table. So medyo it's hard to like stand out when yung mga katabi mo is like really doing well. So
Yeah.
I had to like sell merch na eh. So I packed up and like told them that they could get my space na lang and shit like that. And it worked out naman. Yeah.
And then, so speaking of that, let's imagine a world post COVID-19.
Okay. I
What do
don't
you
know what
want
year
to
is
see?
that, but yeah, let's go.
Sana
Let's imagine, fingers crossed. What do you want to see from conventions in the future?
well, paano, I don't really have an answer kasi for me right now the struggle is like conventions now
Yeah.
don't do like parang madali masabi like how weak yung convention like especially as a source of income how weak conventions are kasi like oh you just have a pandemic and you're dead you're like nothing will happen from you
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
like I think post COVID, like you wouldn't like people would have the mindset na if I go out in a crowded area, I'm at risk. Parang
yeah.
ganun. Kahit wala
Yeah,
na.
that's true.
And also like it also proves na how lacking social media these conventions are because like there's some
Yeah.
conventions that try to do on like an online convention thing and
Yeah.
even though like the idea is good like yung execution nila like is terrible because
Mhm.
they try to make it like a whole day, which is weird because like nobody would be able to
No
spend a
one,
whole
I don't
day
think
on
people
Yeah,
internet.
have
on
the
the
attention
computer,
span
like,
to watch
Yeah,
a 12-hour stream at least.
is this the
yeah,
one yung parang sa ano, sa, I don't think I should say the name kasi baka mabash kami. That that anime convention, that's all I'll say. That anime
yeah.
convention, is it them? Or like some other,
Kind of na rin. There are other events naman.
yeah.
Like, I've seen a few online conventions and I didn't like it sounds good. Like the idea is
Yeah,
good.
Yung
It's just
parang, oh,
that
let's have a store on Discord, ganun.
yeah, the problem is parang masyadong boomer type of
What
thinking
do you mean
kasi
by that?
yun nga, like they want to do this all within a day or two. Like
Oh,
let's all cram everything in this one thing.
no.
Especially yung with the whole let's set up a Discord for the shop, which is like all separate people and then like you have like there's like so much links. You have to like find the right link.
I can imagine the wall of links while
Yeah,
Oh
the
man.
wall of links.
Notification, notification,
oh crap,
notification.
patay.
And
Which one
and
do I choose?
it's like it's creative in a way, pero masyado siyang like they don't want to like
I think
thin it out.
I think it's being it's traditional practice being applied to a modern modern setting, and then it's not gonna pan
Yeah.
out.
And me, ano kasi I'm kind of like a big fan of, especially right now, esports. And I've watched a
Mm,
lot. I watch a lot of esports, specifically CS:GO, and
mm.
uh, with like they're right now they're kasi stuck on this online gaming age,
Yeah,
and they could have done like the same like what they've been doing before. We're in like in just 1 week or so they'll hold their whole event, but since they know na like attention span and they don't have live viewers, they
Yeah.
could like stretch that thing out. So like instead for a week, now they do like 2 to 3 weeks of like the games, and like they really spread out like the games so that you don't need like you can. There's a chance for you to watch all of them,
Mhm.
yeah,
and we're not like a whole day's worth of games. Like there's like 3 to 4 games um per day, and that stretches out for like a whole week or two. And even like in local setting, like there's like the weekly tournaments, yung mga ganun. And something like that, like a weekly or like a segmented type of mindset
yeah.
would be much better than like yung wall of links and cramming it into one day. Like that's like at least you spread it out and like you get to emphasize on like one thing at a time versus
Yeah.
like the whole. I think there's like an event right now. It's I think Icon Manila.
Mhm.
It's like an art. It's a creative conference.
Yeah. I think
uh,
Aaron is participating there, right?
yes, I have friends who are watching it. It's on. I don't know what platform they're using, but
Yeah.
it's that what they're doing there is kind of smart because they have speakers and uh the speaker like they don't cram all 4 or 6 of the speakers into one day. They do
Yeah.
spread them out, so like there's a day for one speaker and then like they really get to be heard even though it's
Yeah.
online. And yung mga ganun na bagay, it's like much better. Like you're not because those type of talks take like 4 or 5 hours, and
Wow.
no,
Yeah,
because you're also getting input from people. So like there's like a
so
bunch of back and forth. So like
Mm.
3 to 4 hours ago of that is, and once a day, twice a week would be much better than like
Yeah.
cramming it in.
mhm. But
Nice.
yeah, I think yun yung problem of a lot of events. Like they try to squeeze everything in one live video
Yeah.
without without knowing na not no one would very few people would even commit to watching it
The
the whole
whole
day.
thing, yeah.
Kasi
Mm.
I noticed na like the best ones like are like yeah split up na like whenever I watch esports, like I watch Apex Legends esports, like
Yeah.
what they do instead of combining the qualifiers of two regions of
Yeah,
all
yeah.
regions
Like they separate
separate.
the
Yeah,
region.
they put it on a. They always make sure na here's the time. Here's the time in your time zone. Na
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
no,
okay.
yun.
Tsaka I think along with live video, having the ability to replay, having the ability, giving viewers the chance to. Kasi I noticed sometimes some live streams have problems with that. But yeah, I think
Yung replay value niya.
yeah, the replay value. But yeah, um, yeah. So kailangan talaga segmented. Like um, even a lot of viewers, even me, that don't have
The
a long
patience.
span. Like that's why I rather have a nice hour or two of a live video na I get a lot of information from, rather
Yeah.
than going to 5 hours and waiting for a specific event to happen.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's another problem nga. Like it's hard to wait for a specific moment or a specific event if you're gonna have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I know a lot of conventions na that are really well run have that, like separate speaker one would be on this time, speaker two would be on this separate so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's how conventions would be in the near future, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like, I don't know lang, like, this COVID situation, it should, like conventions now should use it as like a learning part for them.
Yeah.
Because even like, but locally, there's like a lot of conventions. Because more or less, I could count like 10 to 12 major conventions in the Philippines. Like those are
Yeah.
like the main big ones na.
Yeah.
And even with like those 12, a lot of them have weak like internet presence, and
Yeah.
like they really main the whole what do you call this, like the whole event situation, like live event part lang, like they don't
Yeah.
have uh like they rarely have like what's it, content for like
hmm,
after the event, or before the or during the event that they
in
publish
between
online.
actually.
Yeah. Or like,
Yeah.
especially like for example, Asia Pop, they never,
Oh
they
man.
they only
Uh
like had event, like their event is good, like they do kind of well, but none of that really like matters because you don't really see it anymore. You only have to be at that moment, which makes
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't.
sense.
One thing I like to see in conventions kasi is I wanna see how they're doing online. Like I wanna see like Facebook photos, videos,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what are
especially
they
like
doing?
when you're like gonna visit that event, like I want to see how the event looks like, not just
Yeah.
like see glimpses of pictures, which, or like experiences from like you end up like searching on YouTube, like this event, so that you could get this idea of this event because
Yeah.
you want to visit it, and then it's like from a year ago, and then you're like, oh, okay, so maybe they're gonna do my experience go, and it's weird because you're on the content creator part instead of
Yeah.
like watching it on their official stuff. Like,
Yeah.
they missed out so much on like online content,
Mhm.
which
But
And
yeah,
yeah, I think
yeah.
I wish more local conventions just post more social media stuff. Like commit more time to post
yeah,
Mm.
instead of, kasi it's all announcements. That's my problem.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
we have a new sponsor. Hi, we have this event. Are you hyped to 3 days left? Parang, like the only time they'll post is when it's close, when it's about
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
yeah,
start.
that's
And then
true. Like wala talagang
but
year-round presence.
I kind of want to see like kahit throwback post nga wala eh. Like I even want to see throwback, or at least give something like a discussion, a short video, kahit highlight video nga may enjoy ko pa. But yeah, just a bit more something that adds interactivity.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're also wanting like people to say good stuff about the event, so like might as
Yeah.
well like have like a good hype video or yung mga like teasers
Drone
or like
shots na eh.
Yeah.
most events like they do like the basic promotion where in like let's promote that it's here at this day and time and that's it.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to like the last few questions. We're gonna wrap it up in a bit.
Sige lang.
Last serious question. Yeah. Besides comics and
Oh,
video games, what other interests do you have? We know you already mentioned esports. What other interests do you have?
well, right. Well, I want to go into it. Like, mostly, especially like a few years, I've been into like the whole esports part because
Yeah.
it's very entertaining. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
actually.
believe how entertaining it is, and especially if it's a game you really play or like.
Yeah.
So it's a factor. It's kind of like how, and I understand that like how basketball feels because like,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't understand
All
why
the true
everybody's
basketball
raving
fans.
for like the Lakers. Like, what did they even do? Who are these players? And then now I'm like the same thing like with like the team that I support. Like, oh my god,
Who's your
yeah, you
favorite
don't.
team sa Valorant?
Right
I
now
CSGO pala.
it's
Sorry, CSGO.
sa
Sorry.
CS:GO. Right now sa CS:GO it's 100 Thieves. Kasi I like lang the roster, not the org, pero like the roster lang. And
Hmm.
yung like, and another thing that I've been getting into right now is podcasting. Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
podcasting. Dahil it beats, it fills the void
Yeah.
of the loneliness right now.
Mm,
Because
that is true.
it's hard to be creative, especially in this type of time. One thing I can say, like with the whole comics, like ever since the pandemics happened,
Yeah.
I mean started, the my interest with comics immediately dropped. Like
Mhm.
I haven't been making comics. I said most of the time, like my mindset is none of this will matter. There's nobody,
Mm.
there's no conventions, so I can't even sell them. And even print shops are like hard to go to, so like
Yeah.
I can't make money off of this work, so I don't really need to do any of it. And
Mm.
that's why I've been like live streaming na lang kasi might as well do that. At least I'm
Yeah.
doing something. Right? It's if it's playing video games, it's still something.
Yeah.
Uh, so but I started a podcast and that has been helpful kasi like kahit pa paano I get to catch up with friends. And
Yeah.
it's like a good excuse to practice talking. Kasi
Mm.
if you're indoors, like I've experienced this like as an artist pa lang, like as
Yeah.
a freelancer. Kasi ano, since I only talk to people mostly during conventions, it's
Yeah.
important for me to at least talk to people,
Yeah.
like, get
Yeah.
practice out of it. Because there's this one time, like I haven't talked to anybody for so long. That's why there's a
Mm.
convention. I noticed that I talked in like a low voice. Kasi I'm so used to like whispering or like talking at home that I forgot na, oh shit, when you talk outside you have to like
You have
pronounce
to
stuff
modulate a
properly.
bit.
Yeah, you have to modulate.
You
Like,
gotta modulate. You gotta modulate your voice.
and like, and you have to like know, like you shouldn't be socially awkward.
Yeah.
So doing like live streaming and doing the podcast has really helped like make
Mm.
me pretend that I'm still having conversations with people. So
Mm.
it makes me sane because like at least I get my like the stuff that I think about, like I
Yeah.
at least get it out. It's
Mm.
hard kasi kung kahit lalo na pag problema na you just keep it to yourself, those type of stuff like will eat you up eventually. Kaya mas
Mm.
importante na just have someone to talk to, or like talk about something that you like para to blow off steam and
Yeah.
pretend like someone's listening. Parang ganon.
All right. Final question. What's the backstory behind the mangoes?
Yeah, nice. So
Like
I,
almost
I
every comic, di ba? Meron manga. May manga. It's in your
uh,
name.
actually the manga, the mangaka part is like because it's Japanese for comic
Yeah.
Okay.
artist.
For
Kala ko.
comic creator, yeah.
Yeah, it was so coincident about the whole mangoes part. Kasi
Yeah.
I've gotten like a lot of jokes back then pa lang. Kasi I started the mangaka, Loser Mangaka name like 2009. So
Okay.
medyo I've got experienced people making jokes. Manga? Like manga? And I'm like, oh, it's so funny.
Probably the most Filipino joke you
Yeah,
can.
Philippines.
Oh,
And
man.
I think
Filipino.
there's this my first time during Cebu. My first time
Yeah.
during Cebu, I tweeted out. I'm a big fan of dried mangoes,
Mm-hmm.
and when I
70.
yeah,
I think I kind of
oh,
remember that.
70 stars. There's better
Uy, baka,
brands, man.
baka ma-endorse ka ng
Oh
70 sa
no!
podcast mo. Ah.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Oh, no,
70.
there's already a product that's like my friend. It's called Cebu's Best Dried Mango.
Oh, masarap rin yan. Masarap rin yan.
Anyway, for that, yung dried mango, like I'm a big fan of dried mangoes already.
Yeah.
And when I was at Cebu, there's like I know that this is the home of dried mangoes. So what I did was I tweeted out na when will a local give me dried mangoes? And to my surprise, there's someone who was following me that was from Cebu and
Yeah.
actually bought dried mangoes to give it to me. And when I did,
Perfect.
yeah, it was the best. That was like a highlight of my life. I was like, oh my god, someone gave me dried mangoes, and I took a picture of that. I was like bragging about it. I was like super happy about it. And then when I came back to Manila, and then there's like a convention here, someone did the same thing, wherein they gave
Oh,
me
that's so
dried mangoes,
adorable.
and
Mm.
they were like I was because like they were happy when they saw me like reacting so happy over like receiving dried mangoes. They wanted to see it themselves, so they gave me dried mangoes. I was like losing my shit, like, oh, dried mangoes. And then it became like an occurring thing wherein someone will give me dried mangoes to the point I would be like, okay, give me dried mangoes, guys. And I would like give something in return, which is like a award pin. Like I have a
Yeah.
button pin that's like achievement unlocked. You gave me dried mangoes, like something like that. And eventually, more people wanted more people wanted to give me dried mangoes,
Yeah.
and it was a good experience because I never like there are people who either just discovered dried mangoes because of me, and there are people who like felt na okay, so liking dried mangoes is a thing. Like they thought na they were weird for enjoying dried mangoes, or like they
Come
did,
on, it's a
they're
legit
like
snack.
it's like an underrated snack. That's why
Mm.
people were like happy when I was like bragging about loving dried mangoes, and I easily got associated with the mangoes that is
You're the
dried.
giant mango guy sa
Yeah,
conventions.
and also sa mangaka part, they were like, okay,
Yeah.
mangaka means
Like,
mangoes. They
oh,
usually
yeah.
assume that, which I'm like, no, that's not. It's a coincidence.
It's
My
just
God,
Yeah.
it's a
Shout out to Yeshi.
fountain.
Sorry. Yeah. Shout
yeah,
out to Yeshi Bianca Gomez saying, coincidence yung mango sa mangaka thing. More like meant to be, LOL. Aww. That's so
yeah,
adorable.
yeah. I feel like that's also a thing because the more people, especially now, know me as the dried man or that's the mango guy,
Yeah.
and not the comic artist, which is kind of good, I guess. At least I'm known for something. Kasi there are
Mm.
people like I meet, especially sa my gaming convention. They're like, oh, yung mango guy.
You should
Oh,
have a shirt. That's like an idea for a shirt, diba?
I wish, man. I wanted to.
I'd buy that shirt. I'll be honest. I'd buy that shirt.
there, remember like the whole thing with the pins. Uh,
Yeah.
there are plenty of people who now regularly give me dried mangoes that I can't. Because the pin was like for a one-time thing, like
Uh-oh.
achievement unlocked. What next? So I had to like make a follow up to that, which was like a medal, which is like a
Hmm.
dried mango medal, which is like a
Yeah.
gold medal, and I placed some a sticker on it, and like I have like a cool box for it as well. Para lang, it looks prestigious. It looks like a purple heart, pero it's a dried mango medal,
Oh my god.
and basically like if people give me like 5 dried mangoes, they would get that
Wow.
thing. And I have like a stamp card, which is like yung parang sa Starbucks, wherein you like uh you get like the planner. Yeah, parang ganun, pero with dried mangoes.
And
And I would like stamp people's cards like here you go, and then other people around me, especially who have no awareness on who I am, they will see that and they'll be like,
Yeah.
sikat ka po, sir? Or
they
bakit
just want
binibigyan ng food? Yeah, it was the best thing. Eh. And to the point, I actually gave those stuff like the.
Mm.
And also, ano yung sa brand that I mentioned kanina, there were the Cebu
Food best,
Best dried mango. They actually gave me complimentary dried mangoes.
Oh my
And
god, like a welcome package, parang ganun. Yung
yeah,
mga press
they like there was like I've been like bragging about them.
Yeah,
Because
sorry.
I found out like they follow me on Instagram, and I was like, oh my god, guys, this is my moment to like get a sponsorship deal with Dried Mango Company. I was like bragging about that, and then
Yeah,
suddenly, I kept promoting like their stuff and like
yeah.
tried eating them, reviewing them, and to the point na they were like so flattered, pero they also told
Oh,
me na we don't do sponsorship deals, but we can give you a gift if you want. And
nice.
I gave they sent me a box filled with all their products. And when I saw it, like I received it like last year, and then I opened it up, there's like a big note saying to Loser Mangaka with like something something, and I'm like, oh.
Oh.
That's like a big flex. Na, okay, guys, I made it. I made it.
Made it, yes.
I got it.
yeah,
It's not a
fried
sponsorship deal,
mango
but
time.
I'm like friends with a company. Like they
Nice.
legit. They're like my simps because like
New sips.
they we heart each other always online, and
Mm,
I love their social media team. Like, they're like really playing like the whole social
yeah.
media well. Like there's no other social dried mango social media brand that's like out there, kaya sila lang yung, and I really enjoy interacting with them. They're like understanding, they like my art, and they actually when they saw the medal that I was giving away, they were
Yeah.
asking if they could get some. And then I was like I was supposed to go to Cebu this year, and
Oh.
what I was gonna do was I was gonna give them a trophy with
Oh.
like the dried mango
Mango
stuff. Yeah,
trophy.
kasi ano eh,
Sayang.
they gave me a box and I was like, I'm gonna give you guys a trophy, and make it, I want to hand give it to you guys because mahirap
Oh,
yung shipping and
sayang.
shit.
Sayang.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah, like perfect for like YouTube and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So here's our last question of the night or the morning. We always do a geeky recommendation. We do like it can be anything: TV, video game, comics, whatever. We pick one and then we give a short description as to why we chose that for your geeky recommendation. So
Okay.
since you're our guest, you start off, Gio. What is your geeky recommendation of the week?
Shit. Put on the spot.
Could be anything.
Go watch Glitch
Oh,
Text on
Oh,
Netflix. It's a cartoon
oh,
series.
yeah.
They were made. It was made by Nickelodeon, pero it's on Netflix for some reason. It's
Ah, yeah. Netflix has like a licensing thing with Nickelodeon.
oh, okay. It's
I actually
on
follow one of them on Twitter. Yeah.
yeah, it's on its second season. It's called Glitch
Wow.
Text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I the like if you're into like video games, they reference so much video game stuff, and it's kind of like Men in Black, but with video game monsters basically.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very it's a fun
Cool.
it's a fun cartoon series. And ano, parang one of the people working on the series was my cousin, eh. So I'm like,
Oh, cool.
awesome stuff.
Nice,
yeah.
nice. All
But
right, Jude, what is your geeky recommendation?
Okay, I think before I start, it's also a coincidence that my cat is named Mango.
No,
Wow.
medyo ba si Mango or tulog siya ngayon?
No, he doesn't sleep at this time. He moves around. Like whenever I play, he goes to the room, just
Yeah.
goes around tapos aalis lang siya. Sometimes
Hmm.
magmeow siya just to know na, hello, I'm here.
You wanna bring Mango with you right now?
No, he doesn't like he doesn't like despite na he's here in the house, he doesn't like being carried or being
Hindi siya malambing.
touch the cat. Like maiinis pa siya when you do that. But anyway, so but I wonder bakit. But yeah, anyway, so yun nga. Geeky recommendation. This was recommended maybe a few episodes ago
Sorry.
from our video game episode, Steven, from our Quaran gaming episode.
Yeah.
But this one arrived in the delivery, and shout out to Earl, who is part of our Geeky Juans brain
Brain
trust of
trust.
sorts. Always giving me some nice video game deals that he gets. So yeah, I think I'll recommend Near Automata, which is a game that
Yeah.
I'm about to play, but that's gonna take a while because I'm playing Witcher 3, which is like
Mhm.
shit. I'm just like maybe like 2 3 hours into the game, and the game is
Yeah.
like
That game's forever.
that's basically like 100 of the total hours you might spend, and
Yeah.
that's me coming off spending like almost 30 hours in one game last time, Prey.
Mm.
So like, and then ngayon Witcher 3, like come on. But yeah, Nier Automata, I haven't played this, but I always see how crazy it is, how
Players.
beautiful it looks.
Okay.
Like the tapos yung soundtrack niya is out there, even on Spotify. Like I always see my video game playing friends na they're always praising this game, and yeah. And I think since na mention ko Witcher 3, for those who haven't played it, it's 5 years old. Yeah, I just finally found the time to just say na, you know what, I'll just play this. Like kasi the first time I played it, like I was just kind of scared of doing things wrong, like since it's a story-based game. And they just said like, and my friend just said, you know what, just play it with no walkthrough, screw it. Like, okay. Like kasi it worked well when I was playing Prey like a few weeks ago. Like, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna do a second playthrough. I'm just gonna play this. I'm just gonna play this the way I'm gonna play, which is like safe as hell or as cautious as saves coming as possible. but yeah, when I played The Witcher right now, like I play it with no fear. Na my actions would do something negative, but hey, that's how the experience should be. Like I don't want it to be as predictable as I expect it to be. Like
Mm.
I wanna make sure that there's consequences that are irreversible. Like, oh
Yeah.
no, I really wanna feel sometimes I really wanna feel like I really wanna feel the negativity of the act, the
Oh my
consequences of what I did. Or the reward of or on the flip side, the reward rin na, oh hey, I saved this guy. Oh, look
Yeah.
what I got. I got this nice special item. But yeah, Nier Automata and Witcher 3 are my recommendations
All
for the
right.
week. So go,
Nice.
Steven.
All right. So for the last one, my geeky recommendation would be just watch classic SpongeBob episodes on Netflix. That's all I can say. Just watch
Oh
classic
man.
SpongeBob,
Nice.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, SpongeBob and Patrick taking care of the Mermalayer, freeing Man Ray, Man Ray's cute little bank checks with the poodles, or the Sailor Mouth episode where SpongeBob and Patrick just curse all the way, and you're wondering like what exactly are they
I still
saying?
really want
So
even
bad. And
after all those years, I just wanna know what are they saying.
exactly. Like we need a Blu-ray exclusive of the behind the scenes of that episode alone. I want to know
Although
like
I
what
think
the
that would be an
kids are saying.
R18 version.
Yes. It's like this is like the one thing you can't show the kids of SpongeBob for SpongeBob. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you so much, Gio, Loser
Yeah,
Thank,
thank
Mangaka,
you so
joining
thank you
much.
so
us
much.
midnight
Had
edition of Late Night
had
with the Geeky
fun.
Ones. Late
Yeah,
Night with
first
Loser
midnight
Mangaka.
episode.
Yes.
It's actually fun.
Yeah, thank you so much to the 4, 3, 5 people who were coming in.
We've been
Thank you
getting
so much.
can't believe
Thank
we're
you.
getting we're actually getting views at this time. It's so awesome
I
actually.
know.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you
why I
so much.
stream around this time because I also I randomly get views.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I
Gio,
guess
where can we find you before we go? Where can we find you on social media before we close this off?
I'm available on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's
Hmm?
at Loser Mangaka.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can see the name if ever it's popped here. But yeah,
Okay.
Loser Mangaka. And I also do a podcast over on YouTube. It's called Giuseppe's Podcast. It's also
Nice.
available on Spotify. The name of the spelling of my name is so hard, so never mind. You just see the links on my social
Italian
media.
Giuseppe.
Yeah,
Gio Giuseppe.
yeah, it's so hard. Even
Yeah.
people guessing can't tell. But yeah, at Loser Mangaka on as much social media places you want. I'm
Mhm.
also on OnlyFans. So just
Oh,
That's okay.
mango porn.
There's no content there. I just need to keep the name kasi
maybe it's
baka
just
someone
project
tries
Overall
to
management.
basis, di ba?
yeah. I'm after like the name, like get the name first kasi baka someone might steal it. So,
All
You
right.
know,
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Gio.
thank you.
As for us, it's at Dude It's Jude on Facebook,
Facebook.
YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah. And then as for myself, it's at Stevie Said Yup on actually almost everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I do have a Twitch channel. I haven't used it in a while. And then for the entire podcast, it's the Geeky Juans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We also have a Twitch. And you can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Sure.
Google Podcasts, Anchor, Player FM, and other podcast providers. For Gio, for Jude, I'm Steven. Bye bye. Good night, everyone.
Bye guys. Thank you. Midnight episode. Bye guys.
Bye.